Hello beautiful people, it's Steph here if you don't already know, and on this channel I just talk about all things careers and all things lifestyle. And in today's video I'm gonna be doing a little chit chat, get ready with me. Although if you know me well, you know that I don't really do makeup, so I'm gonna be taking down my hair because that is how I know how to get ready. So I'm gonna take down my hair and I'm just gonna give a little update about how I've been finding living in Houston for the past 3 months, what work has been like, just a little life update, do you know what I mean? So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, I am using this leave-in conditioner to take down my hair. It's literally just Cantu. I don't really feel like it matters. I'm not really that pressed about products in my hair most of the time. I feel like once you kind of find what works for you is fine. I just don't like to take out my hair when it's completely dry. So if you can get some kind of liquid in there, some kind of water-based product, even just water, it's also okay. Like, I don't think it's that deep, but I'm using leave-in conditioner and I'm planning to wash my hair. So I'm not actually in Houston at the moment. It's actually probably the first thing I should say. I'm actually in Canada, but I'm planning to wash my hair when I go back to Houston. So maybe in like 2 days or so, which is why I'm using leave-in conditioner, because this just happens to be what my sister has. So I'm using this. But yeah, no, how am I finding Houston? Honestly, let me just get in there a little bit. Okay, honestly, it's actually not that bad. I feel like naturally, right? So I think first I want to speak about the social aspects of Houston. And naturally, I am a very introverted person, naturally. I wouldn't describe myself as shy. I have no problem with networking and speaking to new people and stuff like that, but my preference is usually to be alone. And it does take me a lot of time to recharge when I am out with people, so I am definitely introverted. And I'm also just not really, I think given my age, I don't necessarily do the like typical things that someone in their mid-20s would do, right? Like, I'm not really much of a clubber. I'm not really much of a let's go out and have a drink type person. I do drink alcohol in all fairness, but like that's not my go-to to have fun kind of thing. So the first kind of month, like that end of August, September that I was in Houston, it was kind of just a lonely month, I would say. I was quite homesick. I did miss all of my mates. And I just wasn't really like leaving the apartment. So it was kind of hard to meet people, I guess. But then a couple of my friends from the UK came to visit, like end of September, getting into October times. So obviously because they were here, that kind of forced me to like get outside a bit. And I really came to discover that Houston actually has a lot of things to do that don't revolve around alcohol. So that was good. There's a lot of like eating places, brunches, that sort of thing. NASA is in Houston as well. I don't know if I'm just like a complete idiot, but I didn't know that NASA was in Houston until I got here and like someone was like, oh, you need to go and visit NASA. So I've not done that yet, but that's definitely something that I'm going to do. They've got some really cool parks and stuff. They've got a zoo, an aquarium. So there's things to do here, which has been cool. So social wise, and like I've actually made friends now, like there's people that I chill with now that my friends from the UK aren't here as well. So social wise, Houston's actually calm. Like, I actually quite enjoy it. One thing I would say is that, so I don't have a car out here. I can drive. I don't know, I kind of looked at the price of cars. I looked at the price of fuel or gas, as the Americans would say. And I was kind of just like, I'm only here for 6 months. I can Uber if I really need to. And if I really feel like I need to get a car, maybe for like the weekend or something like that, I can always just hire a car. So I don't have my own car, which I guess also maybe limits my social interactions with people. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. So that's the one thing I would say. Social wise, like I think it's been okay. I think I definitely did feel a bit lonely at first, but I feel much better now. I feel like I've acclimatized or become accustomed to the environment. And it's quite calm, like I quite enjoy it. So that's social stuff. Work wise, so work has definitely been, and I feel like you've got to understand how I feel about work in the context of the fact that I came from private equity. So if you know anything about how private equity is especially in like a big law firm, or how private equity can be, it's typically very fast-paced, very busy. And I think coming into project finance, it has definitely felt like I'm not as busy. I'm definitely like doing enough work, don't get it twisted, but I'm not doing, I guess, like the unpredictable hours that I was doing in PE. And that's definitely been like different for me. And I think it's also because, so when I started off in debt finance, right? When I started off my training contract. And then I went into capital markets, which was, to be fair, that was also quite a busy seat. And then I went into PE again, PE is busy. So I think coming into project finance, where it's just not been as busy in comparison to the previous transactional seats I've done, it's like, whoa, it's a bit of a shock to the system, if I'm being honest. It's been, my sister just came in to chat. But no, yeah, I think the working hours difference has definitely been a bit of a shock, but it's been nice. So yeah, work-wise, I'm definitely working more predictable hours is what I would say. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm working less hours, because there are definitely, like, there have been days, so I was like on a closing, for example, a couple of weeks back, like that was quite a late night. So there have definitely been days where I've had to do late nights, but I would say that this seat has definitely been a lot more predictable in terms of hours, which is interesting for me, so that's cool. Also, I feel like the culture, I don't think this is like a company thing though, I think this is a cultural thing, as in like Americans, especially Americans in the deep south, so where I am in Houston in Texas, and then like British people, even though obviously not everybody who works in this office is from America, and not everybody who works in the London office is from the UK, but the culture of these countries, I feel like it's definitely noticeable. Like, people have that southern hospitality thing here. People are very, very friendly, which I like, actually. It's really nice, it's really cool. So that's definitely been different as well, and it's taken a bit of getting used to. Like, there's been very much, literally since I got here, everybody wanting to take me for coffee, everybody wanting to take me for lunch. Like, it's kind of overwhelming a bit, if I'm being honest, but it was also just very friendly, do you know what I mean? So that was cool. But yeah, overall, like, work is actually going quite well. I feel like as a fourth seater as well, you can reach this point in your TC where you kind of, I wouldn't even call it burnout, because I don't feel tired. But I kind of just feel like, do you know what, I'm ready to get to the next stage now, in the sense that there's still definitely things for me to learn. I think even as an NQ, there will be things for me to learn. Even when I'm like 4 or 5 years PQE, there will be things for me to learn. However, I think I want to move to that associate stage where there's just that added level of responsibility. As a trainee, no matter how good you are, because you are a trainee, an associate is always going to be checking your work, or a partner is always going to be checking your work, right? Because somebody qualified has to check it, which makes sense. I think I'm just kind of ready to move to that stage where I am in control of certain things. Obviously a partner or like a senior associate will probably still check what I'm doing, but it's a bit different the way your work is checked when you're already qualified, if that makes sense. And I feel like I'm kind of ready for that, and I think that's something that happens for a lot of fourth seaters. So I'm in that stage where I'm kind of just like, you know, I love what I'm learning now, but I'm also just like, okay, I'm ready to move on. Do you know what I mean? I think that's normal. If there are any other fourth seaters watching this who feel the same, please let me know that I'm not mad. So yeah, that's how I feel about work. On my hair, one thing I would say, so I don't comb my hair when it's dry, right? And even though I'm like moisturizing it a little bit with this leave-in conditioner, it's still, for me, like not wet enough to comb it. So I'm just finger detangling it for now. And I'm literally just gonna leave my hair like out. I kind of just want my edges to be loose and stuff like that. I don't want there to be any tension on my hair. And then when I actually wash my hair, so in a couple of days, when I actually like get some water on it and I wash it, then I will use my wide tooth comb to actually comb it out. But so far, like, this is how much hair I've lost, so it's really not that much in comparison to how thick my hair is. I have very thick hair, so yeah. Okay, so the second part of the life update that I wanted to talk about, I've spoken a bit about like how I'm finding Houston as a city, spoken a bit about work. I actually wanted to talk about my spirituality, and I don't talk about my faith all that explicitly on here. There's not really a particular reason for it. I do, well, at least I think people know I'm Christian. I don't hide the fact that I'm Christian. When I feel like it's relevant, I do definitely speak about it. But of late, and I think especially because I've been living by myself in another city, I have had a lot of time to just get closer to God, you know? To just be deep in my scripture, to actually meditate on the word, to pray a lot more. And it feels good. It feels really good. Like, I feel really, I don't even know how to explain the sense of peace that I've been feeling lately. And I really do feel like I need to attribute it to the amount of time that I am spending with God. And I don't even know why I felt like I wanted to share that. Maybe that was also just God like moving within me. But yeah, I just wanted to say that as a second like kind of life update, I've really been getting deep into my spiritual bag over the past 3 months. And I would encourage you guys to do that as well, because it feels good. It really does feel good. And I feel like it's been good with maybe combating. So I would usually at this time of year get really bad like SAD, right? I think a big part of it is obviously living in the UK, the sky doesn't always look that great. And it's not necessarily the same in Houston. It does get cold and like dark quite early and stuff like that, but it's not as grey as it is in the UK. So I think that has definitely helped. But I think also getting more into my God bag has helped, you know? And I've met some really cool people at the church that I go to. I help out like my pastor with like things in church as well. So I just feel like being involved in that active spiritual community, it's done wonders for me. Also, look at how long my hair is now. I'm quite happy with this. Like, the curls look really nice. It's a bit dry, but like I said, I need to wash it and revitalize it. But I'm happy with how long my hair is looking. Cute. Okay, let me do this other side real quick and give you some more updates. Okay, yeah, so back to the God thing. The reason why I actually brought up my spirituality is because one thing I realized, this was actually literally just like maybe 2 days ago or something like that. But it's so important when you are on a journey. It doesn't really matter where you are in your spiritual journey, like whether you are someone who is reading your Bible, you're praying every day, or whether you're someone who's like trying to get there, whether you're going to church or something. Like, it doesn't really matter what stage you're at, right? But it's really important to have a community around you, like of like-minded people. And that doesn't mean to say that you can't have friends from other like backgrounds or whatever as well. I definitely do. But like the other day, I had tweeted something out of anger because I was really upset about something that had happened. And one of my friends saw it. And she called me. She actually called me immediately that I tweeted it. But I think when I tweeted it, I don't know what I was doing, but I was busy doing something, so I didn't pick her call. So she messaged me and was just like, oh, was just calling to check in kind of thing. So I obviously replied and I was just like, yeah, I'm good, but like I'm a bit busy at the moment, can we do like tomorrow type thing? Because I didn't even know she was calling me about this tweet, right? I just thought she was just calling to just, you know, hey, how are you doing, Steph, kind of thing. So then the next day she calls me and she was like, yeah, hey, how you doing? So I'm like, yeah, I'm good, how are you? Because I'm not thinking about this tweet, right? And then she was like, so, you know, I was just on Twitter the other day and I saw that you had tweeted something. Again, I still didn't even know what I had tweeted because I had just literally in the moment that I was feeling angry, I had just tweeted and then moved on and left it, right? So I had completely forgotten about this tweet. So I'm even thinking like, because I think the day she had called me, Ghana was playing in the World Cup or something. So I know I was probably tweeting about that. So I was like, did I say something funny? Like, what did I say on Twitter? Like, I don't remember. So she reminded me of the tweet and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I was really angry in that moment. And, you know, she asked me what had happened. She let me explain my side of the story. And at the end of it, the story is completely irrelevant, but it's the takeaway that I really like stood with me. Because at the end of it, she was basically just saying how like it's really important as Christians to show grace. And I just thought, wow, God, I see what you're doing here. Because I've been getting deep into my spiritual bag, right? I've really been reading my Bible and everything. But in a moment where I was tested, in a moment where someone angered me, what did I do? Did I fall back on the Christian values that I've been reading recently? No, I didn't. I resorted to anger. And what did it take for me to realize that that was not the right thing to do? It took my Christian sister to come and tell me. Do you get what I mean? Like, it was just really beautiful how God reminded me that he can just be there in so many different ways. And yes, like me reading the Bible and everything is super important, but also having my Christian sister like call me and be like, look, what you did there like, I obviously have to see something was wrong, so I'm calling to check in on you, but B, maybe this is how we could go about you handling it, kind of thing. Like, that for me was so beautiful. It just really, A, reminded me that I have amazing friends, but B, reminded me that God just works in such beautiful ways. So I really liked that. That was really like, I don't know, like I said, I don't even know why I'm sharing all of this with you in terms of like my spirituality, but this is a chit chat, get ready with me, and so this is the kind of things I like to chit chat about. Anyway, child, the last thing that I wanted to speak about was some of my 2022 goals. I don't know why I like to just break out into song. I just feel like my life is a bit like a musical. Anyway, 2022 goals. So as I do towards the end of the month, because it's currently, what day is it today? It's currently the 26th of November. So as I do towards the end of the month, I start to look at like my goals and stuff like that. And as I was like about to literally open up my goals and look at them, I realized that I hadn't actually set any goals for November. So I was like, Steph, why didn't you set any goals? What's going on? So then I went to look at my overall 2022 goals, and I realized that I've actually achieved my goals, which would explain why I didn't set any goals for myself. So first of all, I'm very proud of me, like round of applause. But it's been a really weird year, because even as I'm saying I've achieved all of my goals, like, and I'm obviously proud of the fact that I've done what I said I should do, I don't even know how to explain how I feel. And all this is to just say that one thing I've realized, especially of late, is that sometimes you can do everything right and still just feel like meh. Do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of just feel like, okay, I've achieved my goals, but, and so therefore what? Where do we go from here? I don't know. So I'm really taking some time to just kind of look and reflect within. And part of this links back to the whole like spiritual journey. Like, I feel like this is probably also why I've been really getting deep into my God bag and reading the word a lot more, because I don't know, I just feel very meh. Even though I've done some great things. Like, when I say I've achieved some fantastic goals, I'm talking like, one of the goals I had was to raise a particular sum of money for Dossio, the social enterprise that I co-founded with Zoe, and like, I smashed that goal out of the park. Like, I raised a lot of money for Dossio this year, a lot. I just feel meh. One of the goals I had was to do like a lot more around ESG at work. I'm literally working with the head of ESG at my firm very closely on a number of different things. It's very interesting, don't get me wrong, like, I absolutely love the work I'm doing at the moment, but I still just feel like I could be doing more, do you know? So I don't know, like, that's something for me to really just be working on. And I feel like I've been listening a lot to, so some of the kind of growth and development things I like to do include obviously reading the Bible. I feel like everything comes from the word first. But outside of that, listening to podcasts like To My Sisters and a couple of other podcasts as well. And I've been thinking a lot about like the importance of, I guess, I don't know if the word is reflection, but when you're having this kind of growth development journey, I think it's really important to not just get lost in the outcomes, or to get lost in the statistics of like, oh, I set myself this goal and I've achieved it. Do you know what I mean? Because even though I am very proud of what I've done, I think part of the way this year, maybe I did get a little bit lost in not always reflecting to make sure that the goal was like aligned with me, or aligned with like my values and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. Like, it's not the end of the world. I can obviously rectify that for next year. Like, it doesn't really matter that much, but it's just something that I've noticed, you know what I mean? So it's kind of something that I just wanted to share as well. And I don't know, I think in setting my 2023 goals, which I am going to record like a whole separate video on, so don't like worry about trying to follow my very scrambled train of thought as I get ready with my hair right now. But one thing I think I'm going to do in setting my 2023 goals, which I didn't do with my 2022 goals, is have more periods of review where because I do review my goals every month. I actually review them on Instagram, but I review them more so in saying like, oh, I set myself this goal, I achieved it, or I set myself this goal, I didn't achieve it. So I want to review them more so from the perspective of, these are my values, these are my personal, like, this is my personal mission statement. this goal helped me achieve X in relation to my, do you get what I mean? Like, I just really want to make sure that what I'm doing is really aligned with who I am as a person and what I should be doing as a Christian and all that kind of stuff. So that is definitely something I'm going to work towards next year. I have also been having some, like, I don't want to call them dreams, but there's been some things that have just been coming to me repeatedly, that I think I am going to set some goals as for next year. And I'm happy to share some of them with you, not all of them, because I need to, more so just because I need to actually like define them. I'm not entirely sure what some of them look like, but some of them have really been speaking to me. So like, for example, I think next year I want to do some more with an actual school. I have a couple of schools in mind, schools that I personally went to, and I do just want to kind of sit back and think about what kind of impact I want to have, and therefore which school would make the most sense. But I think it's about time I became like a governor at a school. Do you know what I mean? And I say this because statistically there are lower numbers of black governors, and if I even think about my experience in school, I do feel like my experience would have been better if maybe there were more. I definitely had some good like champions in my corner, some good black champions, but I think for myself and just for other young people I know, there had been more black champions in their corner, things could be different for them. So that is something that I'm quite passionate about, that I think I want to try and achieve in 2023, and I'm sharing it with you so you can hold me accountable. But there's a couple of other things that have been coming to me as well that I need to like kind of flesh out a little bit and sit down and vision board, as it were, and think about. So I'm going to record a video on that too shortly and get that out, just so that you can see how I kind of think about that. And I did actually also ask on my Instagram as well, because I said I was going to do this a couple of days ago and I just haven't got around to doing it, but I did ask on my Instagram as well if you guys had any questions that you'd want me to address, and I got some questions in on my Instagram too, so I'm going to address those questions as well. But yeah, like, I just, overall, it's a weird one, but overall I think I'm in a period of just before something is about to change. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm on the cusp, that's the word, I'm on the cusp of a shift, I'm on the cusp of a movement, and I know 2023 is going to be, I don't even know if the word is a big year, but a lot of things are going to change in 2023, and a big part of my 2022 was making sure that I would be ready for that change, because obviously I knew a lot of these things were coming. Like, for example, I'm going to qualify as a solicitor, God willing. I knew that was coming. Do you get what I mean? So a lot of what I was doing this year was making sure that I was kind of aligning myself with the skills that I wanted, so that I could be the type of lawyer that I want to be when I qualify, that sort of thing. So I definitely knew this shift was coming, but now that I'm ever closer to this shift, I think I'm just feeling a bit, you know? But I'm gonna get through it. I know I will, with God's help, with the help of my friends, with the help of my family. Like, I know I'll be fine. And it's just a reminder to you, I guess, in the last couple of minutes, that if you are also on the cusp of a shift, or even if you're just going through something and you're kind of just feeling a bit where you're just like, you know there are things you need to do, but maybe you're not quite there yet, or there's still a couple of things you need to accomplish, or maybe you've even done everything that you think you need to do, but that shift is still on its way. Just a few things. So the first thing I would say is have your community, have your circle. I think that's a theme that has really been coming up a lot for me in this like little chit chat, get ready with me kind of thing. Having your community, having your people around you, having your like-minded people. And in some instances, it's also important to have people who don't think like you as well. But I think especially in times of change, it can be really beneficial to be grounded by those who are of similar mindset, who can kind of remind you of who you are. So that's really, really important. So having your community, having your people. Then I would say having your faith. And it doesn't even really matter what your faith is, or having your belief system or whatever. Like, obviously for me, it's Christianity, so having God. But even if you're of a different faith, like, just sticking or being strong in that. Because for a lot of people who are of faith, like, that is where your value system comes from. And you really do want to make sure that what you're doing aligns with that. And when you're in a period of change, as I feel like is going to come for me, being rooted in something can again really help you just remember who you are and make that change process just a little bit easier. Do you know what I mean? So I would say, you know, re-up on your faith, as it were, whatever it is that you need to do, whatever that looks like for you. So for me, it was reading the Bible a lot more, if I'm being honest, and also just dedicating more one-on-one time with God. I've always been someone who goes to church. I'm even a Sunday school teacher. I've always been very active in the Christian community, but I wasn't necessarily always active with making one-on-one time with God. So that was something that I needed to work on. So whatever it is for you that you need to work on, whether it's praying more, whether it's doing more like volunteering, whether it's more give back, like whatever you need to do, work on that, prioritize that, because it does help. It doesn't always feel like there's a direct link, but there is. So I would say that. And I think the third thing I would say is just trust in yourself and believe in yourself. Like, you are equipped with the tools that you need, even though it doesn't always feel like you are, because you wouldn't have made it this far if you didn't have those skills or those tools already. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, that's just my little takeaway from that. I have now finished undoing my hair. We do, thank God. I'm very happy. I'm just gonna leave it out, I think, and then maybe even just pack it back. I just really don't want, like, I don't want to pull my edges too much, basically, especially because it's been in cane rows for so long. I kind of just want my hair to have an opportunity to breathe. So for as long as I can leave it out, I will. But if I feel like it's getting a bit tangled, then I'll just maybe pack it back in some loose twists so that I can wash it in a couple of days. But if you like this kind of chit chat content, please do make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back again soon with another video.